Okay, we are live.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, Ma.
Good afternoon.
And amazing to have you here with us once again today on a very cold Saturday afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ms. Bosetti. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for always yielding to a call. Like I said earlier, we really appreciate you and we are thankful for all you do. You're a gift to us as LSI and we're very appreciative. Thank you so much. So, hi everyone. My name is Bumi Bossadi and we're here again to enlighten, inform our community. And today we will be talking about the information session will be on Regional Learning Choices Program. I've had a lot of inquiries. I've had a lot of people reach out to ask, what is this program? What are they? Why should my child take go into those programs? What are the benefits and the like? So we have, as usual, our always dependable speaker here, Mrs. Banke Kunle Oladosua. She will be talking about all you need to know, and she will be talking in two different dimensions today. She's going to be addressing our questions as an educator and also as a parent that had children attend one of those regional learning choice programs. So thank you so much, Ma, once again for joining us. And please, we know that we've always asked you to introduce yourself, but we don't know who's going to be watching today that haven't watched any of our past videos. So we'd ask you to kindly introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me once again, Ms. Bosetti. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thank you for creating this platform for all of our families, particularly maybe new immigrants, new parents that are new in the Canadian system and wanting to learn more about the system of education in, especially maybe in Ontario or Canada as a whole. My name is Banke Oladoshu. I am a public servant. I currently serve as the guidance counselor in an elementary school with the Peel District School Board. I have been with the Peel District School Board for 16 years, and I have worked in different capacities. I have been a classroom teacher. I have been a contained classroom teacher in a special education space. I have worked as English language, teaching English language as a second, as teaching English language to students who are new in the country. I've also worked as an in-school support teacher. And prior to coming to immigrating to Canada, I was teaching at a private school in Lagos, Nigeria. All of my formal education was done in Nigeria. But of course, I had to retrain myself and relearn myself here in immigrating to Canada. I am also currently the vice president of the Nigerian Canadian Teachers Association. It's a platform where we help Black students to nourish and thrive in their fields and whatever fields they intend to pursue. We also provide professional development for members. We are also all public servants as well. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of this forum. And I'm happy to share my experiences, lived experiences, and share practical knowledge in this area when it comes to regional programs. So thank you very much for having me. That's a snippet of myself.
Thank you so much, as always. Now let's quickly get into it. And just to let us know, we'll be having two students coming in between this conversation to share their experience as students that have been a part of one of the regional learning programs. They would be sharing with us what they think about the program, the advantages, the benefit to them. And if they don't like it, they will also let us know. So, yes, let's get to it right away. So, please, what exactly is this regional learning choice programs that we're throwing everywhere? What is it?
Okay, so the Regional Learning Choice Program has many facets to it, and it's a program that has been introduced by different school boards. I work for the Peel District School Board, And the regional learning choice program starts at our elementary schools, elementary grades. So you can start from grade 6 all the way to grade 12. So these are programs that is based on student interest and passion. It is not meant for everybody, I can tell you that, because not everybody is good at everything. Nobody is perfect in all spheres of life. So the board has created specific programs tailored towards different needs and passion and interest and values. So for example, if your child is very good at reading, there's a program within the Regional Learning Choice program that pertains to reading. Your child is interested in reading, research, inquiry-based learning. There's a program within the Regional Learning Choice domain that your child can take advantage of. If your child is interested in science and technology, there's a program for that child. If your child is interested in transportation, wants to be a mechanic, wants to be involved in supply and logistics, there's a program tailored towards that need. There's a program for business, there's a program for technology. So it's all based on student interest, values, and passion of that student. It's not based on the parents' interest. It's not based on the parents' I wouldn't say values, but I would say more of parents' interest and passion. It's really about the child, because all of this program is all child-centered. It's student-centered. It's about the child, because it's the child that will go through the program. So we have different programs. There's the International Baccalaureate program. There's the IBT program, which is an acronym that stands for International Business and Technology. There's the Advanced Placement program at the high school level. There is the SciTech program, which is called Science and Technology program. There's also the Arts program for students who are interested in arts, dance, drama, visual arts. There's the Graphic Design program. There's the Strings program. So lots of program based on student portrait. It's all based on what comes naturally to you. If math, for some students, it's math. Math comes naturally to them. They're able to deal with numbers in a very quick and a very simple manner. So there's a program for them. So the board that I work for have different programs for students based on their interest and passion.
Thank you so very much. That's like breaking it down in the most simplified way ever. Thank you so much for that definition of what the regional learning choice programs are. Now, you had mentioned something about the passion of the child itself. So a child has to actually have interest probably in maths or science or arts and the likes. But I also wanted to just quickly kind of piggyback on what you said, that if those programs are starting from elementary school, then it means that the parent also have to be involved. Mm-hmm. Because for a child in elementary school, the parent must be a parent that kind of now they're able to notice what exactly are those interests mm-hmm. of their child in order to help the child kind of fine-tune what the passion is. Mm-hmm. If your child is in elementary school and you find out your child loves art, right? At that point, you're now looking at, okay, what are the art programs available that my child can take opportunity of to build this interest, right? The same thing would apply for a child that loves science and maths, mm-hmm. right? So I just wanted to quickly say that as much as it's your child's passion, we also need as parents to guide that child towards building that passion and identifying that there's actually a passion that needs to be harnessed. So yes. You want to say something?
And I can also quickly give an example of my own daughter. So new into Canada, trying to get into the system, and they love my daughter. Both of my daughters love to read. They're avid readers. They love to read. We go to the library, borrow books, read. So in the classroom, I would get phone calls about my oldest daughter struggling in class, that she's always disruptive. She's always this. She's always all negative comments and all of that. And at that point, I reached out to a colleague of mine who were teaching at the same school. And I said, this is the feedback I've been getting from my daughter's school. However, I feel that she's not that way. She just needs more. So my colleague now said, why don't you try? Have you heard about IB? I said, no, what is that? And she said, oh, it's even the right timing. There's an information session happening at W.G. Davis. Maybe you should attend, because the description and the profile of your daughter you've told me kind of matches this program. Do you want to attend the information session? So we attended. In fact, before then, my daughter had been recommended to a behavioral class. And so when they recommended that, that was what kind of, as a parent, was like, my daughter is not behavioral. She's not engaged in the learning in the classroom. She needs more. So that was what, like, as a parent, prompted me to wanting to take action, because I didn't want them to place her in a glass. So we attended the information session. Unfortunately, I have to say that we were the only Black family at that information session. And they told us everything about this session. And I asked her, I said, would you want to write the exam? She said, okay, we'll try. So she wrote the exam, she passed, and she became a student in that space. So like you said, it's something prompted me as a parent to take action. And I had to ask. I'm like, this is what I'm struggling with. This is not the kid that I see at home, but this is what has been presented to me. I need help. And that's when that program was recommended to me. And I tell you now, she's in law school and she's doing very well. But the trajectory of her life would have changed if, as a parent, I did not do anything about it. So just to say exactly what you said, just to also add to what you said, as a parent, we need to take action and help find out, be aware, find out what pathways are available for our kids based on what they know and what they do and what they like to do, and then we can help them navigate that pathway.
Thank you so much. And just to kind of piggyback on what you said about having to attend the information session and you being the only Black parents. So my story was a little bit different. I went to a friend's house, and the daughter, who happens to be in the IB program at the time, I think she was doing something. I can't remember what exactly was going on. Then I just said, Nifem, what's going on? You know, that auntie that I always want to. And I'm like, she talked about something IB. And I said, what is IB? And she started giving me all the stories. And I was excited to learn, there's an IB program. There's this, the aunties, this is that. And the mom too, you kind of, since you don't know about this program. And she gave me enough information for me to go home, sit down on my computer and begin to do my research. Mm-hmm. And like, it was God all orchestrated, because what happened was, during the research, I got to find out that there was an information session coming up, I think a week or two after this particular incident happened. And I told my husband, we're going to go for it. And the information session was at Mississauga Convention Center, a huge venue. And just like you noticed, to my surprise, I counted the African, because I couldn't tell the Black people that were there if they were Nigerians or not, but I counted the Africans in that room. We were about 5 couples out of over 1,000 individuals in the room. And at that point, I knew that there was something intriguing about this opportunity, and I really wanted to be a part of it. And that was how my son also got into the program, right? So I think as parents, we actually need to do the work. Mm-hmm. We actually need to do the work. Let's do our research. Let's speak to the school. You know, sometimes when you speak to the school, you get all this information. You walk in and say, are there any programs you think that my children can take advantage of? And at that point, the school will provide you with the necessary information that they feel would benefit you. And to take you to my next question, I know that we're right now talking specifically about Ontario. I'm right now in the Hamilton region, and I know that we do have the IB program and other regional learning program in Hamilton. I also am aware that while we were in Brampton, and that's the Peel region, my son also took part in middle school and in high school. What of those that are not in Ontario, in the province of Ontario itself? Do you think these programs are also available nationwide in Canada? And how can they find these resources?
So what I would like to recommend for those outside of Ontario is to find out, go to the school, go online. All these district school boards have a website. access the go on their website, see if you can find any information about all of the programs that they have. And if you're not sure, go to the school. The school is a welcoming space for parents, because the school is also working in partnership and in collaboration with parents. Go to the school and ask and say, and in Ontario, I heard that there's a program there's the regional learning choice programs. There's the IBT, there's the IB, there's a science and technology program. Are you able to educate me on all of the programs you have available at your school? So the board website will be a good resource to tap into. The school would be a good space to go to. The teachers, ask the classroom teachers, ask them, because I'm not able to say exactly if those programs exist outside of Ontario, but I'm sure they would be. They might not have the same name, but I'm sure there would be different student programs for different student portraits. So I would say ask and do your own research as a parent. Board website, school, classroom teacher would be my recommendation to access that information.
Thank you so much. Now, I'm sure people are wondering, this program that we are talking about, is there an entrance exam? What are the components of this program? How can my child get into this program? And that's my next question.
Okay, so at the beginning, remember that I mentioned that it's all based on student interest and student values, what students are passionate about. Yes, there are some exams based on the board. The board that I work for, I know that there's a written assessment for some of these programs. There's a written assessment. There's an audition for some of this program. So yes, there is a written. And in terms of preparing, it has to come naturally to you, because these programs can be intense. And I can tell you that as a parent, it's academical, it can be rigorous, it can be challenging, it can be overwhelming. So you also don't want your child to be stressed out. You don't want them to be burnt out. So you have to make sure that whatever program you're thinking for your child kind of aligns with their values and their interests and their passion, so that they're not struggling. Okay, because you don't want them to struggle in those programs. And you don't want them not to be successful or thrive in those programs. So yes, there's a written component, but I don't think you can prepare them. It has to come naturally. There's an essay, for example, the IB program, the International Baccalaureate program. There's a written component. There's an essay. It says, sometimes they might say, why do you think you're the best candidate for this program? That's an example of what a question can look like. So they want you to write an essay, maybe not more than 250 words or 300 words. So you have to be able to describe your intention. Why do you think you are the right candidate for that program? I know for the International Business and Technology program, they were asked to do a video. So if you're not technology savvy, you're going to struggle, because they'll be using a lot of technology. So it has to align. Again, it has to be what you enjoy. Do you know what I mean? As a teacher, we like to teach, we like knowledge. So even any field, if you want to go into sports, you have to be ready for the physical aspect, the physical fitness of that. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, I don't think you can prepare. You can, but there's really no math website or language website that you can go to and say you want to study for this exam. It's something that has to be innate. It has to come naturally to you so that you thrive. If you don't love reading and you go and sign up for the IB program, you're going to struggle, because it's a lot of reading, it's research based, it's inquiry based. You're going to struggle. So yes, there's a written assessment. You can prepare, but there is no scripted assessment book that I can recommend and say, take this, go and prepare for it. It has to be something that comes naturally to you.
Thank you.
I answered your question.
Yes, you did, because I was going to also say that, yes, because my son did attend at least 2 of those programs. So I can also speak as a parent that you would do the exam component and you would do the interview component. And when you were talking about one of the questions, I remembered that for my son, it was, if you were Justin Trudeau, what would you do differently, or how would you make Canada a better place? Something like that was one of the questions that was asked English component, because they had the maths and the English component to the exams. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, and for us, what we did to prepare him, because for me it was strange. I was trying very hard to give him all the resources he needed to get into the program. So what we did was, when we went for the information session, they had students all over,
Mm-hmm.
students that were taking part in the programs at the time. So you had students in the IBT, in the IB program, in the art program, and all that, and they were all everywhere. And they will tell you, if you have questions, you can speak to the student directly. So we approached a particular student. I was asking questions. My son was asking questions. My husband was asking questions. And I asked, I'm like, okay, for the maths component, I know English, from what he told us, it's going to be random. So, but for the maths component, is there any way you can help us? Is there anything you feel it needs to concentrate on at this time? And the guy said, yes, read this, study that, study this, study that. And I was like, okay, do you mind having to do maybe a 30 minutes class? We can meet at the library. And he agreed.
Oh,
So
nice.
twice a week, we go to the library, we sit there, either me and my husband, and the guy is there, and they go through math questions, they resolve, and all those. And it helped, because when he went for the exam, it was like, oh, some of those, math problems were one of the questions that was asked.
Mm.
So those are also tips on, things you want to also consider if you are thinking of your children taking advantage of this program. Now, I need us to backtrack a little and talk about that workload. That workload. Because as Nigerian parents, I was saying this jokingly, from where we come from, we have, the maid, we have lesson teachers, we have the school teachers that would do this works for us, and we pay for it, right? But here, you have to be a part of the journey. It's very important if you're thinking of getting involved in this program in any way with your kids. You have to be a part of the journey, because the workload is a lot.
Yes.
The kids will be doing maybe 2-3 times of what they would averagely do in their grade or what their mates are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first assignment my son brought home. I say this all the time. I think it was over 100 question, a math question. And I'm like, how? Like, how will you give a child? And at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., he was there with his father, and they were still trying to sort things out. And I asked my husband, I'm like, are we sure that we are really ready for this? Is this really what we want to do?
Mm-hmm.
But as time progresses, he got that 100 question, he would finish in 2 hours. So he got used to the system with the support of his parents. So we also need to know, as Nigerian parents, we have to be involved. It's very, very, very important. Do you have anything to say or add in that
Yes,
regard?
I like you rightly said, we have to be, we can't just the role of the parent is very crucial in the academic achievement of our children. We can't just say, okay, now you're in that program, it's all yours, bye-bye. No, like you rightly said, we have to be involved. And I'm also going to give an example of my own situation as well. Both of my daughters were in the IB program all the way till grade 12, from grade 6 to grade 12. And when they got to grade 11, math was an area of challenge. I told you earlier that they love to read. Yes, reading. But when they got to grade 11 math, advanced functions, calculus, like they were struggling. So we're like, okay, they enrolled in Counting on You after school. So that was helpful for them. I would have to stay back, and they would stay back after school hours. They would be engaged in that with their teachers at school to help them. And outside of that, we had to also engage another teacher who was teaching them math. And we live in Brampton, and I was traveling to Mississauga after school twice a week for math lessons, because math was not an area of strength and they needed help. So also community service. Some of these programs require community service. The drop off and the pick up is part of the package. Because when they're going for community hours, not the Ontario required community hours. For example, the IB required another extra hours added to the Ontario one. So the drop off and the pickup at that time was also us being involved. Oh, mom, I'm going to this. Can you drop me off and pick me up? What are you doing there? We have to do this. Sometimes it was at the library. I will go there and sit down and get my own work done. And my daughter was also volunteering at the library and doing our own thing as well. So the community service to parents need to be also help them. Some kids might struggle with finding a place. So they might need the help of their parents to say, okay, we're supposed to commit to XYZ number of hours, but I don't know. I'm struggling to find a place. Can you help me? Maybe that's where you can come in. Your expertise can come in and say, okay, why don't you try this place? Can we go and call it? Okay, I was able to get this phone number. Why don't you call this phone number? So all of those type of things, they might require our help as parents, either be it in the academic part or be it in the community service part. So, and even the drop off and pick up, like I said as well.
Yes, thank you so much. And just to quickly add to that, so if you are your child is considering, or you're considering as a parent, please note that they don't offer this program in all schools. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be one specific school within your region that would only have the opportunity to house the kids that are in this program. So that means you're either dropping them off because they are not going to be, there's a probability that the school is not going to be close to home. Mm-hmm. You're either dropping off and picking up, or you're paying for busing. Mm-hmm. And I think what we did at the time was also, I think if you have people that you all stay in the same area, you eventually locate each other, you can now arrange where someone is responsible on a particular day to pick up and drop, while you will do the, pick up and drop for another day. So it's important that we also put that out there. Now,
and could I just quickly add to what you just said now?
Yes,
and the reason why some of these schools are not all schools are offering this program is because some of these programs require skilled and certified teachers trained to teach the program. For example, the IB it's an internationally accredited program. So teachers who teach this program have to be trained by the international body for them to be able to teach. So not all teachers are trained to teach IB students. That's why all the schools are not able to afford the having those programs run at all the schools. I just needed to add that part.
Thank you so much. And that leads me to my next question. Now, I've had people ask me, are you saying that these kids have a different curriculum from their peers and mates that are in the same grade in a public school or a Catholic school? Or are they running the same curriculum with the government school, or both? So with any of those programs or most of those programs, can you please speak to that question? Is it that they have specific curriculum specified to them only, and that's just all they're doing, or they have to also consider the government curriculum for the grades that they're in and the likes?
And so I can give an example of the International Baccalaureate program. When you finish that program in grade 12, you're getting 2 diplomas. You're getting the Ontario Student Secondary School Student Diploma, and you're also getting the IB diploma. So 2 diplomas. And the reason why you're getting those 2 diplomas is because you're accessing the curriculum, the Ontario curriculum. And in addition to that, there's an extension, what they call academic extension of that program as well. So you're doing IB and you're doing Ontario curriculum. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It's still Ontario curriculum, but there's an extension to it. So for example, again, going back to the IB program is inquiry-based learning. It's very globally minded in nature. They teach the students how to be globally minded. They help them to develop. It's inquiry-based, meaning they're problem solving, they're asking questions, they are developing their critical analysis skill. They are all round. So all of these things, it's still Ontario curriculum, but in addition to that, there's an extension of that Ontario curriculum. They're adding more to it. They embed more and more. That's why it's very academically rigorous. In fact, I know that for the IB program, when you're in grade 12, if depending on your performance, you are able to get some credits based on your performance. Again, you're able to get university credits in grade 12 when you're getting into university. So it's very intense. It's not just Ontario curriculum, but in addition to that, you also have an additional curriculum added to the Ontario. So you have like sandwich and then you have different layers over it as well. That's for the IB. For some of these programs, it is not. Okay, it is not. But I know specifically for the IB, there's an extension of that Ontario curriculum. So yes, they're accessing the Ontario curriculum, but there are other layers to it as well.
Thank you so much. You hit the nail on the head, right on the head. And please, if you have questions, that's why we're here. Please just send in your questions. We can see it, and we would get to ask, speaker today. Before we move on, we have two students that have been waiting to join this conversation. They have other stuff they're doing today, so they're just quickly going to come in and share their experience as former students of the regional learning choice programs and what they think about the program, the benefits, if they liked it or not, and probably a general overview coming from a student that once was in this program. So I'm going to, at this time, call or add in Mubarak. If you can hear me, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. And yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Mubarak and Daniel, for joining us this afternoon. I would ask that you guys introduce yourself, and I will start with Mubarak.
My name is Mubarak Etu. I'm 14 years old in grade 9. And
Okay. Hi, how are you, Mubarak?
I'm okay, thank you.
How was your week? How was school?
It was good.
Okay, great. And Daniel, hi, Daniel. You're muted.
Hi, my name is Daniel Wasade. I'm in grade 12, and I was in the IBT program and the IB program until I moved.
Thank you, Daniel, for joining us. So my question to you guys, and whoever feel comfortable answering the question can go ahead. So how did you, I'll start with, how did you like the program? I know, Mubarak, you were in the IB program, am I correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so how did you like the program? Mubarak, you want to start?
I liked it a lot. I made a lot of friends there. I surrounded myself with people who were studious and outgoing, and to this day, some of my best friends I met in IB. That's WD Davis. I'd say I liked it a lot.
And Daniel?
I would also say I like the program a lot. Like I said, I met a lot of great friends and close people who I still talk to.
I'm not sure where we're getting that cracking voice, that cracking noise from. Okay, it's gone now. Mubarak, do you want to mute yourself? I want to find out where it's okay. I'm still having it, so I'm not sure where exactly it's coming from. So Daniel, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and go ahead.
I say I had so much fun in that program. Like it really set me up for high school and like my future. Like it kind of opened my eyes to what I wanted to do. Like I was in IBT during middle school and then IB going into high school. Like it really it was because it was international business and technology. There was a lot of like hands-on work. Like I would touch on like what Mrs. Bankhead said when she said that the curriculum is a little bit different, because I would say it is. Like it was very difficult. Like in my opinion, like it wasn't easy. You had to work hard. Like I know most people in middle school would expect like for it to not be like super hard, but because it was like obviously it's like a skills major program, it definitely wasn't easy. But like once I got into high school, and then I eventually left the program because I moved, like all the work was easy. Like grade 9, 10, I was like super easy for me. Like I never had to do homework because even though I wasn't doing the best in IBT or I could have done better, it was almost at the same level I was doing at like grade 9 and 10. So like it really set me up. Like I would say it's like a good program to set you up for the future for sure.
Okay, so Mubarak, when it comes to the workload, now you moved, so you had to leave the program. Now, if you want to kind of compare and contrast to what you were used to when you were in the IB program, and now that you are in the public school general program, how would you compare both?
I would say IB was definitely the workload was definitely heavier compared to grade 8, 9 into high school. when I got into high school, it was really a cakewalk because, I mean, IB already prepared me for everything they taught. And I mean, like, based on what Daniel said, I never had homework and classes were really easy. And I just finished my first semester of high school and I found that the grade 9 um, math was too easy. So I had myself boosted to grade 10 second semester. So I'm currently in the grade 10 um, high school math curriculum, and there's a challenge there.
Okay, so what you're saying, just to be clear, is because of the IB program you were a part of, it kind of prepared you for where you are right now. So it made it easier for you because you had learned more difficult things while you were in IB. So it was easier for you to go through your maths and the classes you're having currently. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you guys have an opportunity to advise your peers out there, like you have the opportunity to kind of give a talk on IB program, IBT, why would you tell them to try out this program? Like, what do you think are the catch for you? Now, you've talked about the grades, the hard work, the load, and all that. What would be your campaign for people to try out this program? Yeah, you can go ahead,
At
Daniel, if you
first,
want
I would
to.
say like to be honest, like this program is like fun. Like it's even just the relationships you build with the people there lasting, and there's a lot of experiences and trips that you don't really get to experience in the normal middle school. Like I would say, like when I left, I was super like disappointed and sad at first because like obviously I'm leaving my home. I went to a Catholic school at first, so I'm with these kids from kindergarten to grade 8, right? So these are like the kids I'm planning to graduate middle school with. Like these are my friends. I'm leaving them to go to a whole new place that's completely like that's far away from where I live. But it's just like the experience you get.
Mubarak, can you please mute yourself? I'm sorry, Daniel. The noise is really bad, so we can barely hear you. Yeah, Daniel, please go ahead. If you can, start all over because the noise was. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say that like the program, even though like at first I wasn't as excited going into it because I was leaving a lot of my friends to go to a different school, I would say like it builds a lot of strong relationships and just stuff that you would experience at that program that you wouldn't really experience at a normal middle school. Like for example, one thing that we did that starting in grade 6, the grade 8 start a business for you, right? And then they hire you guys, whether you're a sales rep, you're a media manager, you work in the back, you're a financial manager. They give you certain positions in grade 7 and 8, and then you now go to trade shows where they select a couple individuals. So you're going to like public places where they're actual adults with their own businesses, and you're now presenting and proposing these businesses to actual investors. They're purchasing from these businesses. Like I created something called, or I worked with people who created something called Hydrofuse. Obviously, your kids, so it's like simpler businesses. It was like you just like customized and like designed ornaments, controllers, coasters. It was like an arts company, and we sold it, and we actually made profit. Even though the profits going to the school, it's just kind of cool, like knowing that you're able to create something and like you're actually working. Like I was a media rep, so I ran the Instagram. I'd make posts. I'd take photos for the company, like stuff like that. Just shows and like it's something that you wouldn't do in the middle school. Like another thing that I learned, we did stocks. You were assigned in a group of 5. We were given $10,000 starting at the beginning of the school year. We created financial profiles. We would be able to invest in stocks. And then the group with the most, who made the most profit by the end of the school year, got like a pizza party. Even though it's not real money, it's fake money, but we're weekly checking into our stocks, selling, retrading. It was like you don't learn that at a normal school. Like you don't expect somebody in grade 6 to be able to know how the stock market works. That's something that it really sets you up for the future. That's what I would say about the program. Like you might not enjoy in the beginning, but just so many fun aspects. Like we went on ski trips. You went skiing as a class. You don't do that at a normal middle school. Like it really sets you up for the future. That's what I would say. It's a really fun program.
Thank you, Daniel. Mubarak.
My main point for someone who wanted to go to IB would be the fact that you're surrounded by a lot of people who are like better than you. and will teach you stuff. The teachers, your peers, your classmates, everyone. I mean, when I was there, I learned things that I thought I wouldn't learn for like years to come. But because of the people I was surrounded by, I did. We learned robotics, coding, advanced math, advanced English, history, social studies, all sorts of stuff that I mean you just wouldn't get at another school that didn't do IB.
Thank you, Mubarak. And I have a question for you. Mayowa is asking, did Mubarak say that is currently in grade 9, but presently taking a grade 10 math as a result of enrolling for the IB program?
Yes.
Yes?
When I was in IB, we took advanced math and I went to grade 8. It was easy. And in high school now, grade 9. First semester, math was easy. So second semester, I opted for grade 10 math.
Okay. So, Mayowa, I hope Mubarak, please mute yourself. I hope Mubarak did answer your question. He said yes, because he had done advanced maths while it was an IB program. He made the maths right now. The maths is currently doing in grade 9 pretty easy for him. So now he's opting to take a grade 10 maths in grade 9 second term. Mrs. Banker, do you have any questions for our guest before they leave? They're just here for a couple of minutes to kind of.
I just want to commend them, because I don't know if you were watching me. I was nodding my head the entire time because of all the points that they mentioned. They talked about being mingling and attending school with similar-minded students, with similar-minded individuals who were teaching them and helping them to navigate the system. That's what we want for our kids. They also talked about the program allowed them to be future ready. Tomorrow's job, they're trained and they're developing their skills to be ready for tomorrow's job. Practical, hands-on experience that resonates with them, and they're going to take that skills, those concepts, and then apply it in their everyday life. That's amazing. I want to commend both of them, and I want to tell them to keep it up, keep working hard, because I've never seen anyone who didn't do well with hard work. So keep working hard, keep trying your best, and be the best that you can be. I'm very, very proud of both of you. I don't have a question for them, but I just wanted commend them. Thank you, my friends. Thank you, Daniel and Mubarak.
Thank you, guys. Do you have anything else to tell us before you leave? No?
I'll just say, like, even if like your child doesn't want to do it in the beginning, like I would say as a parent, like it might be one of the things that you might just have to force them to write the test. Like just make them get it done. And then like if they get into the program, like they really will like enjoy it. I would say so for sure. Like I would like have that pretty much shaped like my middle school years. Like I still remember like everything from those years. And like just as an example, there are two people who I went to IBT with. One of them's name is Neha. The other one's name is Karanveer. And they were both ahead of me, right? They were both in grade 7. I was in grade 6. Now one of them is at Carnegie Mellon, which is like one of the top universities in the States. They're considered like a new Ivy. And the other person's at Princeton, which is an Ivy League. So like these, like it really sets you up. I promise you, and they know it too, because I still text them every once in a while. If they didn't go to IBT, they would have never like ended up in the States, because it really opens your eyes to so much like to a different future, you know. Like it really sets you up.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I hope you're not saying that I forced you into IB. But really just to kind of say it, and I say it to parents all the time, like we're guardians. Our role as parents is to guide and guard the children. Sometimes they don't know what they want. A little bit of push, because an average child will tell you no to everything that is not fun. No to everything that is not fun, right? So it is for you to take that first step and try to encourage them to start. When they start, it might be a little bit, no, I don't want to. But the minute they get into it, that's all. That's all. They find their interests, they find their place, and they begin to love the program. Right.
And just to quickly add to what you just said as well, I've never
Are you there? Okay, our internet is acting up now. But Mubarak, can you hear me? Are you able to hear me? So it's not from my side. Daniel, can you hear me as well? It's
Yes.
not from, okay, so it's not from my side as well. So I guess it's from Mrs. Banker's side. We would give a couple of minutes and see if she's able to come back. But like I was saying, it's important as parents that we push these kids for success. Sometimes they don't want to do it, but the minute they get to start, then they begin to like it. And another advantage of this program is that you are there with like minds. Everybody in that program is serious. They are students that are serious, that know what they want and what they're doing. I remembered that Daniel was saying at the time that when he started, it was feeling like a champion because it was one of the top in his class when he got into the program. But when he got into the program, he got to find out that everybody in his class were top in the school they were coming from. So they were all kids that knew what they were doing. So it was a situation of you actually have to know what you're doing to continue to excel in the program. So it's important as parents as well that we try to help the kids, kind of go that path, what they want, how to, do it and encourage them. And like we've said earlier, we also need to support them because the truth be told, it's a very taxing program. The child will be overwhelmed sometimes. The child will be thinking sometimes, I don't know what to do. I can't handle this. And that is where you come in as a parent to support that child, to find help when they need help academically, drop off and, pick-ups and the like. So everybody have to be involved in the process. That I am 100% sure of. We're still waiting for Mrs. Banker to join us back. We have a couple of questions here that we will be attending to as soon as she joins us, but I will see if there's any of the questions that I'm able to take. What's the difference between AP and IB? Mrs. Banker will be in the best position to
I think I can answer that also.
Oh, you can answer. Go ahead, Daniel.
Just AP is called Advanced Placement. IB is International Baccalaureate. So IB is like a program on its own. AP is just classes that you can take, right? So you could apply for, I know back in Brampton, there was some AP schools that were just straight all AP classes, but I know even my school right now offers Advanced Placement Chemistry and Biology. Most schools offer AP classes, and there's some schools that have AP programs, but IB on its own is just a program. Like you can't just take IB Science or IB Math. IB is a program on its own that gives you 2 degrees, like 2 separate diplomas when you graduate, while AP is just classes that you could take that are a bit more difficult. They're advanced placement. They prepare you better, like even more for university. And with AP comes like a test, and you cannot take a specific exam for AP where you get marks and you could use to apply for universities. AP is more important for applying to the States than it is for Canada. It doesn't have as much of a weight that IB does.
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel, for answering that question. And welcome back. We saw that the internet.
I'm sorry, I live in a rural part of the world. I'm sorry, the internet is not great. I'm very sorry. I apologize. So I'm using my phone right now, so it should be good.
Okay, thank you so much for joining back. So Mubarak and Daniel, thank you guys for coming quickly on board to speak about your experience. We appreciate you and thank you for being an amazing ambassador to us all. Have a great day. You can leave if you want to, and if you want to continue to stay on, please feel free to do so. Now, at the time you left, we were talking about the difference between the AP program and IB program. Daniel was trying to kind of help us answer that question, but if you have anything to add to it, what's the difference between the AP and IB program?
Okay, so they're very similar. They're very similar when it comes to the curriculum. The difference, a couple of differences, I would say. The IB, you can start in the middle school. That's from your grade 6. So they have the IB middle years program, but AP does not have that. Both of them are university pathways. The AP is widely recognized in the US. IB is also recognized in the US, but more of AP. They don't really, IB is not very common in the US. So if you're thinking, but IB is common when it comes to international, outside of US. It's very common anywhere else in the world. Another thing that I would say is that with AP, both of them, you can earn university credits. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier on, but you can earn university credits in IB, you can earn university credits in the AP program. So as you transition into post-secondary school, you have credits, university credits already. Very similar, and it's also very inquiry-based. Both of them are very similar in content. A difference with AP and IB is that for AP, I don't think you get an AP diploma. There's no other diploma you get, whereas with IB, you get 2 diplomas. But they are very research-based type of learning, inquiry-based type of learning, a lot of reading. Both are university pathways. And you're developing content, knowledge content, and the original Ontario curriculum with both of them. So not a lot of difference. It's just some universities in the US recognize AP compared to the IB.
Okay.
But if you're thinking internationally, IB is more. It's well known.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering the question. And I think you answered this question while you were diving into this question you just answered, but I would ask still, and the question is, please, what grade does the IB program start?
It starts in grade 6. At least for Peel District School Board, we have the middle years program in grade 6. Both of my daughters started the IB program in grade 6, but not all the program starts in grade 6. I know the International Baccalaureate does. I know the International Business and Technology does, which is IBT. Peel has SciTech. It's not a regional program, but it's a program that the Peel District School Board has introduced because of the need for science and technology and trying to get students ready for future jobs. So we also have the SciTech program at the elementary level. We have the arts program for students interested in arts, dance, drama, and visual arts. That also starts in grade 6. So depending on the board that the area where you live or the board where your children attend, you might want to find out from that school board or from your school district and find out from them what programs they have in the elementary years and then in the high school years. But Peel has those programs running from the elementary all the way to high school.
Thank you so much. And just to also add to what you have said or reconfirm what you have said, it is important as parents that we are involved, and the only way we can be involved is by doing our research ourselves as well. So if you are in a particular district school board, make your findings, ask the school, do an email to the teacher, walk into the school and ask, go to the school board's website and put in IB on the search bar. Put in IB, put in regional learning program, put in a special program, just do your research, and I'm sure that you would kind of find resources that would lead you to the answer that you're looking for, because the truth is every region would have something specific to them that will be different from another region. I know that in Hamilton, they don't start in elementary school. They don't start these programs in elementary school. I think it starts in high school or middle school. I can't remember. So do your research. Thank you so much. My next question from Nene is one recurring question I've had from my new immigrant client is, what is the benefit of this program? When they go into, what is the benefit of this program when they go into the university in Canada, America, or anywhere else in the world?
I can talk as a guidance counselor, and I can also talk as a parent whose 2 daughters have experienced this program. The skills they acquire in this program is commendable. The skills, we're talking about problem solving skills. We're talking about being critically minded. They are questioning things. They are globally minded. They are aware of of what is happening around them, and they are thinking about how to solve problems, real world problems. They're not just consumers, but they're also producers of information and knowledge. They are the skills that they gain throughout the program is one thing that I would say is really an advantage in that program. Another thing that I would not take away is the social aspect of that program. They grow every day with similar minded students. My daughter's best friends, for both of them, are students that they're in the same program from elementary to date. One of our best friend is in medical school at Queen's right now. They navigate the system together. They are driven. They are highly motivated students. You want to keep your students, your children busy, because when they are busy, they won't have time to be doing anything else. Whatever area or field, it could be sports, it could be academics, keep them busy. This program will keep our kids busy. And when I say busy, I mean good busy. They are into it and they enjoy what they're doing depending on the program that they sign up for. So that's another reason it keeps them busy. And also, maybe one thing that I would also like to say is that it helps to develop another skill that I call time management skill, being able to collaborate, being able to manage their time. Because when you're in this program, some level of self-sufficiency is required. Some level of independent work is required. So when they grow up, post-secondary or post-university, these skills are already there. They're not struggling when they get to university because they've been equipped in high school to be able to live or to be able to manage their time, their resources, and all of those type of things. So those type of skills that they gain in high school will help them to thrive in university. So think about going to university. It's a huge transition from high school to university. When the kids will go through this program, when they get to the university, they're not struggling when it comes to time management because they've been exposed to so much rigor, academic rigor at the high school level, that when they are given a lot of pages to read, they're like, oh, I've done this before. Quick. They're able to do it. They are collaborating. They know how to problem solve. They are navigating the system. They're able to do this. They're able to take up extracurricular activities and still be able to manage and do all of those type of things. So that is what I would say would be a good reason to enroll your children in these programs.
Thank you so much. And I love that aspect where you talk about having to be able to handle whatever comes as they go into the university. Because I work with youths, I relate with youth, and I know that it can be very overwhelming when they first get into college and university. One thing I can assure you is because of that hard work that they have built while they are in this program, because they are not doing the average that every of their peers are doing in school. They're used to more. They're used to doing more. They're used to doing more difficult stuff. So getting into university, most of the time, they are not overwhelmed. They are not overwhelmed with the system. They are not overwhelmed with the workload that is thrown at them, because it is a system that they're used to. And I can tell you that a lot of parents would sometimes put their kids in private schools just because they want them to be able to get these resources that you're going to be getting for free. Because these programs are for free. Aside from, I think you pay for the exams. If you're going to be doing the IB national, international exams, I think you pay for it. I think you pay for the instrument, and the instrument classes are compulsory. I think you pay for transportation if you're going to be, using the busing, but the program itself is free. So it builds the child's resilience. I think that is one thing that you can be assured of.
Yeah. So what I would like to say is this, two things. Number one, I don't know if I mentioned it before, it helps them to build a network of friends that would help them to navigate the system together. That's number one. Number two, regarding the fees, depending on the school board, some school board require fees. So my board, there's what we call the application fee. So when you're applying for this program, you pay an application fee. There's also what we call the program fee. The program fee in grade 9 and grade 10 ranges from 250 to 300 because that's the pre-IB years. And then grade 11 to grade 12, you pay because of the exam, like you said, they pay about, my daughters paid about $2,000, but it's not one payment, it's installmental payment because they have to write that exam, like you said. So, and they allow you to pay installmentally. So you can pay maybe 500 this year and all of that. So you can spread it out. So there's the program fee and there's the application fee. So I know that for my board, but I don't know for the other school boards, but there might be some little payments. And I know that this year, Peel District School Board is introducing free transportation for their regional program. So it's new. It's new this year. So a lot of parents were very excited about that. So transportation comes with the package if you are within the Peel District School Board. So transportation from grade 9 to for now, we don't know what's going to change, if it's going to change depending on funding. But for now, if you get into the program, you get transportation. So,
Okay.
but I don't know what it is like for the other school boards.
Okay, so do your research, as we've always said.
Exactly.
Even if you're going to pay, I can assure you the 300
worth it.
or 1,000 will not be compared to the amount you'll pay per term if your
Yes.
child is attending a private school. That I
Yes.
can tell you for sure. So yes, so the next question I have here is, aside from obtaining additional university credits, what are the other advantages? Okay, I think we've answered that question already. Also, when children sign up for IB, are there numbers of specific subject taken per grade? Upon completion, does the student get a certificate, and would the certificate read diploma? What would the certificate read? Diploma in what?
It will say International Baccalaureate Diploma. At the end of grade 12, you will get 2 certificates, one for the OSSD, which is the Ontario certificate, and then you will get the International Baccalaureate. It will just say International Baccalaureate Diploma. I think that was one of the questions, right? What would the
Yes.
certificate read? It will
Yes.
say International Baccalaureate Diploma. That's what the certificate would read. So what was the first question again?
The first question is, are there numbers of specific subject taken per grade?
So yes, depending on so grade 9, it's usually 6 compulsory subjects, and then they have 2 electives in grade 9: math, language, science, geography, French, phys ed, and then you have the option to take 2 electives. However, when I say language, they have their own specific English language that they have to take. It's like I said earlier on, it's the Ontario curriculum with an extension. So it's English, but it's not general English. There's an extension and all of those type of things. So every year, students are expected to take 8 credits. 8, because there are 2 semesters in a session in a year in high school. 4 credits semester 1, additional 4 credits semester 2. So 8 credits in total per year. And you're also allowed to do summer school. A lot of students do summer school. So, and you can earn credits during summer school as well. So typically minimum 8 subjects per year, but there's also wiggle room to take more credits if you are able to. I don't know if I answered that question.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And yes, I think those are the questions that we have. And just to quickly just came to my mind that I should say this. Now, I know we've talked about a lot about academics and, the courses, and all that they need to do. I also wanted to put it out there that it's a well-balanced program.
Mm-hmm.
As much as they really put preference on academics, they also require you have to learn an instrument. It was compulsory that you learned one instrument. It was compulsory that you get involved in sports and some extracurriculum activity. So it wasn't just a situation where it's just academic based program alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's an all-rounder kind of program, because I needed to put that out there. So you are not saying that. Are you just saying this child should just be reading and reading and reading and
no, all of the programs does engage students in community service. You have to give back to your community. You have to know what to do. What are you doing? Are you doing a clothes drive? Are you doing are you volunteering at the library? Like, you will have to learn how to give back to your community. So all of these programs, if not most of this program, if not all of them, emphasizes community service.
Thank you so much. And that is one of our core in LSI. We don't joke with community service because we feel that it is very important when it has to do with the youth. And that is something that we as Nigerian parents also need to take seriously and begin to also include in everything. I know we love sports, but community service is one thing that will also, help our children as they grow within the community that they're in. We are no longer in Nigeria, we're now in Canada, and it is a requirement. It is a requirement, a very important requirement. So thank you so much, everyone that have joined us today, and most especially, thank you once again, Mrs. Banke Kunle Oladosun, for always being there for us as LSI. Whenever we call on you, you're like, I'm there. Just give me the time and place and when. Thank you so much, everyone that have joined. Thank you to our guest speaker. And also thank you to Mubarak and Daniel for, joining us earlier to share their experiences. I think we're done for today. We don't have any other questions to attend to. Before I ask our guest speaker for last words, just to also let you know, we're having a resume and interview workshop for our teenagers, particularly in our young adults. That will be happening later this month, I think February 23rd specifically. So if you have a child that have never worked before, is thinking of working soon, is of the age, and you're thinking, how do we put this resume together? What do we include in the resume? How do we apply for jobs? Where do we get jobs for them to apply for as a teenager, as a first-timer, going into the job market, as a child going into the university that now wants to begin to do the corporate work? Please join us. More information will be passed out soon. Thank you once again, Ma, for joining us. Any last word before we say goodbye to everyone?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. It's always a privilege. I consider it a great honor and privilege to be a part of your forum and platform. Thank you, and I appreciate you. And to all the parents out there on today's show, please take advantage of all these programs for our children. They are there for us. Let's take advantage of it, and our kids will thrive and they will be successful. Thank you for having me, and I wish everybody all the best.
Thank you. So we just had a question, Corey. I'm not sure if we're able to attend to this question. It says, knowing that the children are required to have high grades to increase their chances for university admission, how will their performance in IB affect this?
Sorry, can you read the question again?
Knowing that the children are required to have high grades to increase their chances for university admission,
yes,
how will their performances in IB affect this?
So the IB have a different assessment method. It starts from level 1 to level 7. If I remember, I'm thinking my daughter's right now level 1 to level 7. So if you're in IB, you're already a high achiever, because it's not easy. The workload is very intense. So thinking of entering gaining admission into university, you will have the grades. I don't think you would struggle in terms of grades, because again, when you're in that program, your grades has to be strong. Otherwise, you would have been advised to drop out of the program. So typically, your grades are strong enough to get you admission into the university. I don't know if that's the answer to that question, but when you're in IB, you're a high achiever. The workload is intense, you're academically strong, and all of that. So for you to have completed IB all the way to grade 12, then you must be strong. And remember, these programs are all university pathways. They're not college pathway. They're not vocation school pathway. So they're preparing you for university. So grade 9 and grade 10 are pre-IB levels. So if you think you're going to struggle, or if they think you're not doing well, you would have been called to and say, we're going to suggest that you de-enroll or remove yourself from the program. But if you complete it all the way to grade 12, you are bound to go to university, and your grades are strong enough to gain admission into university. That would be my answer to that question.
Yes, and I also agree with you. And if you're thinking, I've heard people say that I'm thinking my kids' grades are not strong enough in grade 11 and I want the 90s so we can apply for scholarships and apply for, this and that, and maybe go to the state and all that. I've seen parents say at grade 11, sometimes they withdraw their kids from IB and take them back to the general, school, the
Program.
government
Mhm.
school. And at that time, because already the child is ahead in all that is being taught, the child in grade 12 in an average public government Catholic school now begin to have all the hundreds and the 99 because of what
Mhm.
the child has already learned in the IB program. I've seen parents say that to me. I haven't
Absolutely.
tried it out, so I don't know how that would work. But if that's your fear, now it's also about you knowing your
Mhm.
child, and
Mhm.
being able to monitor things thus far. Okay, at grade 10, where are we with our grades? At grade
Mhm.
11, first term, where are we with our grades? What can we do
Mhm.
better? How can we
Exactly.
improve these grades and the likes?
Mhm.
And I think if you are kind of involved, then it shouldn't be a problem at
Yeah,
all.
and you completing the IB as well. Like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier on that you completing the IB program also based on your performance gives you university credit. My first daughter had over 18 credits already getting into first year in university at McGill. So because of the performance, it's not automatic. You have to be strong enough. So she could have done university 3 years. So that because she already had that university credits from grade 12, because the assessment process is not the same as the regular one. And the university is all based again on the different individual universities. They look at the grades, and then when they look at the grades, they're like, okay, you've applied to this program, fine, this is what credits you get, and all of those type of things. So for you to finish your the IB program in grade 12, that means your grades are strong enough for you to gain admission into the university.
Okay, so hope we were able to answer that question, Adele Kioni. Thank you once again, everyone. We're grateful for you joining us today, and also to our guest speaker. Have an amazing rest of your day, and see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for having me.